Welcome into a very rested Real Kyper and Bourne show. No?
I mean, are
You
we?
don't feel rejuvenated after the weekend. Very tough trade deadline weekend.
Daylight savings with kids, pal.
Feels like we've been reborn.
All right.
Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo, live on Sportsnet 360, 590 The Fan in Toronto, streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. Always available Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Toronto Maple Leafs, Sammy.
Yeah.
It's a tough start to the week.
Easy on the sounds.
Sorry, I forgot my mic was on.
Lose their seventh game in a row, their longest streak since March of 2015.
That was a good year.
And
We suck.
Do you guys, do you want to hear, this is their lineup the last time they lost 7 in a row?
All right, let's do it.
Do you want to hear that? Or?
yes.
Okay,
yes.
this is from Kevin Papetti.
I wonder how close we could get just doing it.
Not close.
No.
Like, I'm a diehard Leaf fan, and even me.
All right.
Top line of James Van Riemsdyk, Tyler Bozak, and Phil Kessel.
Yep.
Joffrey Lupul, Greg McKegg, and David Booth.
Yeah.
I had some David Booth conversations when he got here.
Yeah.
Richard Panik, Leo Komarov, and Brandon Kozin.
Mm-hmm.
Lindstrom. I don't even
Tobias?
maybe
Tobias Lidstrom.
Sam Carrick and Casey Bailey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wear Casey Bailey's helmet when I play now.
Eric Brewer and Dion Phaneuf, top pair. Jake Gardner and Morgan Riley.
Oh, my goodness.
Still around.
gracious.
And the last pair is Andrew McWilliam and Tim Erickson.
Mid.
That mid.
Generous,
That's below
Derek.
mid.
Is this the lineup that got them
Matthews.
Yeah.
Matthews?
Yeah. Because it would have been 2014,
where's Marner?
2015. He probably would
Marner had been drafted, but
in
was
junior.
not.
Oh, he was back in junior.
Junior, yeah, lighting it up in the OHL.
And Willie?
About to win a medal.
Willie would have been called up late in that year.
He was in the American
Oh,
League.
Willie
Yeah.
was,
Late.
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
He was protected.
Yeah, both of them.
No interviews. Couldn't play 3-3s. They were
That was lose rules.
Yep.
I actually don't hate that rule.
Well, you can't play 3-3 because you're 19, but the
Oh,
28-year-old
I
has to.
meant the interview rule.
Why? Get used
So-
to it, man. You're going to be in Toronto.
But at that point, everybody knew the direction. Everybody was in on no problem.
Yeah.
Right? It
yeah, it was on purpose.
was on purpose.
Yeah, they were
This
intending to be
This
awful.
one stings even more because
There's pain coming.
it's not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Far from on purpose. I would say the opposite of on purpose, by accident.
I guess the question now is it becoming on purpose? Like, are they now at the point where,
And you'd be okay with that because you want that top 5 pick.
well, I don't know. I would like all the picks to be better and
Yeah.
have a better chance of hitting the home run. But otherwise, I don't know. Do you think they're playing to win?
Oh, gosh.
All right.
You know, I mean, that's a loaded question because it certainly doesn't look like it, but then you're accusing them of quitting or fixing the games, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, they're trying.
I don't know. Hey, listen, whatever they're doing, it ain't working.
But there's
How about
another,
that?
There's another gear of trying that they're not tapping into, I would argue.
So how are we feeling today, boys? I mean, we did the Friday show, which was more of a, I would say, a national show because it was coming straight off that. We didn't do a ton of Leafs. We did have the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs on our show. A lot of response to a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
that
there was a
asked.
ton of response for sure.
And I guess 48 hours, 72 hours later, I don't know, however many hours later, how are we feeling here about the general direction?
Well, I went on the morning show. I talked to the boys, Gunner,
Yeah.
and
Ennis,
Ben, and obviously lots of talk about our interview with Brad, and we've done a lot of interviews for sure, and even in my days with Sportsnet, on the TV side, but like to feel the emotion of him, and he didn't hold back on that, and you got to give him credit for it. Like he made his public, press conference after. He didn't really even need to come on, to be honest with you,
No,
right?
That's fair.
And
I agree.
he didn't.
No.
He did it already openly. He could have shut it down, but
And not only did just our show, did Overdrive before us too, right? So
not only did he do it, it was like he knows he has to face the music, right? Whether or not it's to talk specifically about Scott Lawton selling for a third rounder compared to a first, or just the state. But he didn't hold back on how devastated he is right now, and that in itself is not an easy thing to do.
No, I think there's an element of like in hockey when there's a feud going on and you just have to go out there and fight and answer the bell. I feel like that's kind of what Tree did. He went out there and answered the bell. But then I think it's fair to not love some of the answers. And I think some of the fan base has grabbed onto some of the answers. And in particular, the one about, we will have a direction, right? That's a topic they're working on now.
Again, he was very forthcoming to say and give us the impression that it's not in place yet, that we're still working on it, or there still needs decisions to be made.
Yeah.
And does that surprise you at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things you asked how we're doing and kind of our feel on things, I think everyone just assumes you're a bad team, you should sell, right? But we had also been told that they wanted to go back at it next year. And so I think the most important thing is to have clear strategy before you go into the deadline, because now you sold 3 good players. And I wasn't saying they shouldn't do it. I was on board. But if you are going to go back at it, I don't know how you get back just the guys you lost. Like, those are 3 pretty good players, and I think in many cases you could make the case they were misused and devalued. Like Scott Lawton, which we said never got I think Bunk gave us a stat the other day that 20% of his games here where he was over 15 minutes, and he played 15 minutes plus for LA in his first game and scores. So I feel like I don't know how they're going to get back to competing next year if that really was the plan, because those are 3 pretty good players. I don't know how
the only one gone with another year on his deal was Nick Waugh.
Yeah.
I've thrown this out a couple times the last few weeks, but if somehow Scott Lawton re-signed here, would that make you feel better about?
If next year is it, yeah. If you want to win next year,
or if they turn around and gave McMahon $4 million times 5.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out. I'm just throwing out what's out there, but
it depends what's out there.
I don't know if people were looking for like a real big home run. It didn't happen. Now, are you guys? Did you catch wind of Kent Hughes in Montreal?
Depends.
About
what part?
I guess he had. They all scheduled their post-trade deadline press conferences, and he was late because he was working on something.
Yes, I did
big.
see that. Yes.
Yeah.
And it did happen.
Now, I'm not telling you what's out. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing.
Oh.
All right. There is a sense in at least my inner world.
I heard some things.
That the deal that he was working on was with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Really? That is really shocking, considering how infrequent they make a deal.
No way.
So are we talking for some of the guys who left or different guys?
All right. This is where we get to spitball now. Okay. What's going on over there?
I cannot wait for the next words that are going to come out of your mouth. I'm giddy over here.
Now, I think Elliott was the first to report Matthews Nyes' name out there. I had also heard it, and I put him on my trade board at the end of the week. And there is a sense out there that perhaps there was something brewing around that type of guy.
So if you're Montreal, Matthew Nyes makes unbelievably perfect sense for them. Big, young, got the, different type of guy than what they have.
I can tell you that his name was out there with multiple teams. Okay, that's the word today. And if that's the case, if you really, really think about it, outside of Matthews and Nylander with no moves, who was out there that could provide the Leafs with a multiply of top talent?
Right. Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not confirming that
But
that was
only other names Cowan, and that wouldn't.
I'm not confirming anything. I'm just telling you that's the word and that's the feel going into this week, that if there was something with Kent Hughes going on, a lot of people are pointing to him and the Leafs.
And would it
today.
Would it have been bodies back for the Leafs?
Of course.
So
Yes.
Caden Gooley.
Whatever
And-
it is, they have a ton.
Oh,
They have a
got
ton.
that Hage kid on the
Okay.
way. Hage.
They have a lot. And that's the one guy that if Tree Living was working on something with Nyes, he's the one guy that could bring you back that type of
You
return.
wonder if it was in Montreal, if it would have happened. I wonder if you're Tree, the fear of giving Montreal a player that puts them over the top, the spotlight would never be brighter than that trade.
It's one thing to trade Thomas Plekanec to the Leafs for a one
Right.
playoff run or like a little trade. I can't even think of other trades they've ever made. But to trade one of your seemingly next core guys who's on a long contract, the first year of a long contract, or is that contract kicked in?
I don't
7.5.
For 7 more years to be on a rival
Confirm
team.
that
is-
Yeah.
I mean,
But can you have flipped it into 2 or 3
Yes, it's not.
next blue chip prospects,
Mm-hmm.
right? That could turn into someone as important as Nyes is developed. And that's the name of the game come trade deadline, guys.
See, this is what Leafs fans are frustrated about. They wanted to see a shakeup. They wanted this,
Yeah,
whether
but
it's nice or not.
Something like that can
Still happen.
still happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think Ken Hughes, when he was referring to something that big that he was working on, I think he did kind of lean towards that it could get picked up again.
I think he made a joke, like, I'll tell you one day over a beer or something like that to whoever he was talking to. I had heard those quotes too.
one of my big complaints coming out of this deadline, I would say, is that the hurried seeming nature of all of this, about how it all seems like, we talked about this for 2 months leading up to the deadline about the guys that they could potentially trade and the guys on the lease that had value. And to have the McMahon one come in at 3:01 Eastern and have the Lawton one come in at 3:20 Eastern. If they had traded Nyes to the Habs at 3:20 p.m., it just felt like everything was so rushed and there was that's the part about it that pisses me off the most, is how much time they had leading up to it and just how rushed and unloady everything felt at the end. Is that not fair?
It's totally fair.
I don't
and
think we were hard enough on the lot.
No, I agree.
That he overspent last year and he underspent this year.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
And just even trading Scott Lawton for a third. How do you only get a third for Scott Lawton? It's because you leave it to the last minute.
Because
and hang
nobody
on.
else gave you a second,
Well,
JB.
if you believe that the best offer they got for Scott Lawton was
Yes.
a third rounder,
Correct.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
If that's the case, then
That's why it went so late.
Yeah.
He's begging somebody to step up with a second,
yeah.
and no one did. And now you're caught.
It's just crazy when you look at who went for what. People don't think he's more valuable than Michael McCarron or whoever.
Sam Carrick?
Sam Carrick went for what, a second?
Nick Dowd?
Right. You can't tell me Lawton's remotely in the return-worthy class of those guys. Of course he is.
What do you go for LA? 67% in the faceoff circle?
Yeah, 15
Scored a
plus
goal.
minutes, goal, wins
On
all
it.
straws,
On at the end of the game against the Habs in a big game racing towards the playoffs.
power
But-
play.
Not allowed.
We did ask Brad Tree Living about a couple years ago compared to today. Totally everything's on the table now. He didn't say it, but I referenced it, but you could hear it in the man's voice that all bets are off now on any of them, and will include Willie and Austin,
Yeah.
right? And
absolutely.
by the way, I also heard Willie's name out there a little bit.
I don't want him to do that. I don't want him to be the one to do this.
Yeah,
that's where I'm
different-
at.
That's.
And
a good
I'm
point.
sorry. I know it's not a nice thing to say, but this is
Haven't
Era
felt
de-
good enough about the
this
trades.
is era defining. This is what happens if you end up moving in the direction of rebuild and you're trading Austin Matthews, you're trading William Nylander. Those are massive decisions that you want the sharp. That is a huge decision to make. I don't trust the current layout enough to have them be the ones to make those decisions. That terrifies me. quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, go back at the return on deals of big names. I think what the Islanders gave up for Bo Horvat, it's like Atu Ratu. And it ends up being nothing. You trade these big guys. Quinn Hughes may have got back a lot of pieces. It remains to be seen if any of them make a dent.
I agree, Sammy, and what we think right now is almost irrelevant, but
it always has been.
Always has been.
Except maybe in Calgary.
But let's just take a look at Nashville Predators, right?
Okay.
Barry Trotz says he's had it. Like, how long have they had now to be shopping for their next guy? And whether it's a new title, a president of hockey ops, whatever, they're putting the legwork in right now. Mm-hmm. And we're hearing names like Brendan Shanahan. We're hearing Chris Pronger in the mix for Nashville now, right?
Yeah, Pronger's name is all the way out there. Right?
President or
Simmons
GM?
But they are moving forward now to find that guy. So that's the head start. The question is, for the Leafs now, if it's going to be Brad, then do you need to say it now? Are they going to wait till the end of the season? Are they shopping now? Are they not shopping now? Because other teams are beating. If you are going to make a change on Brad, other teams are beating you to the punch right now, and there's more coming. There's going to be other teams letting go their executives, and they will be in a position if you don't decide it sooner than later.
This is becoming the defining flaw of this era right now, is a lack of clear plan. Indecisiveness, waiting. We'll see how it is when we get there. We don't have to make that decision yet, rather than, the one thing we've talked about in the show, I think Doug Armstrong and McClellan in Washington, those guys do such a good job because they've made clear decisions on guys. They say, hey, Armstrong traded Shattenkirk and Stastny in years they had cup hopes, and they even won a cup right after that. McClellan, I know Chris Patrick is there in Washington, but they move on from Carlson. They've made tough decisions. The tough decisions do not seem to be being made with a clear direction here, right now. And I think you could argue they did for a while when the team was all in, but that was easy.
Yeah, it was easy.
It was always going to be the direction. Now
they all got their faults a little bit. And, if I look at St. Louis with Doug Armstrong, and this is happening now regularly, like, you got to make a faster decision on a guy like Parayko than 48 hours for him to decide.
He's got 4 years left, Kevin.
No, I'm talking about going back to the player and having him decide that late in the process.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I look at Vancouver with Tyler Myers, and at least Jimmy Rutherford gave him much more runway. He did the deal already with Detroit to the point where it's like, I don't care. I don't care who knows, but you've got a few days, 3 days to decide. And if you come back with a better offer or an offer that matches it, I'll grant you. I'll take you anywhere you want to go.
But to your point before, you can't make someone make you an offer.
But you also run the risk of someone going, "You're changing my life, and I've got 30 hours to decide." And it's like you're lifting my life upside down. Yeah. I'm going to move my family. There's agents involved. There's financial planners involved. So if Parayko goes to Buffalo, he loses $250,000 a year for 4 years, $1 million.
You want in taxes? Or
in taxes, just in taxes. Yeah. From Missouri, New York State, and California, amongst the worst in the U.S. It's like, oh, by the way, how do you feel about that? Right? And it's like, there's no time, guys. There's no time for a guy to do that. So, it's hit and miss. But
you find me a guy who's run a team for as long as Doug Armstrong has and hasn't got stuff that's like, I wish that had happened 2 days earlier. It's like, okay.
Okay, all right, yeah. But yeah, to your point, it would help. It would have helped Brad Treliving to just make decisions faster. Yeah. Right? And that's one thing. He does have that reputation. We've said this, that he likes to be in on everything, or at least the talk. But can't find a way to pull the trigger sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we were on this show, and me specifically pounding the desk a week before the deadline saying, now is the time. Like, if you're going to make 6 trades, which a lot of people think you need to do here, they didn't cut any of the excess baggage, like the people who you think are a net negative for their contracts.
Yeah, I'm like, Yarncroke, please tell me at some point during the season you could have got something for him.
7th, future considerations. Like, it's just not... Like watching that game last night and watching him roll out that line of Quillen, Lorentz, and Yarncroke with Benoit and Stetcher against Kucherov's line and Hedman, just going, how are we here? Like, you shouldn't be able to have 5 guys on your team like that at once.
Like, are they? The question is now: are they still in the process of evaluating?
Evaluating what?
I don't know. Brad Treliving.
What's left to evaluate?
Okay, I'm not arguing with you.
I know.
I'm just saying, then either you rip the Band-Aid off or you let the man stay.
But they are not making decisions. That's indecisive right now. And
what is the benefit of him sticking around now and then them doing this in April or May?
Here's what I think you're saying, and if you're not saying, I'm getting. He is going to be here doing it again next year.
I'm not saying that. There's so many other factors involved in this. And another one that we've discussed before is, like, what's it going to be like in those last few games here for the fans? Like, I don't know. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I didn't watch the end of the game Saturday night.
That's okay, pal.
We're
not
pal.
Breaking it down.
But lucky you.
You know, there were a few boos, Sam.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they booed hard off the ice. I would say that.
Does it get worse as we go
it was
along?
Over in the first period.
But here's the thing. I talked about it a little bit on Leafs Talk after. I said that it was pretty apathetic, for most of the night. Thought there was a few half-hearted go Leafs goes. It's still a Saturday night at Scotiabank Arena. I get to see the Leafs. Like, there's still that part of it. But, in the last minute, they started booing or whatever. But I don't know. It's just, you're always more worried about not more worried, but you're always thinking about the business aspect of it, Kyper, in terms of what product you're putting out there for these ticket prices. And I saw
it
some
affects the on-ice product.
I saw some stuff out there that, you could get into the building on a Saturday night for around $100, which is just completely unheard of in this market. So I don't know if apathy's sinking in. And I think if apathy sinks in, that's definitely the worst place you're going to be. I don't think it's going to get worse. I just think people are not going to go as much and people just don't care, which is,
that's dangerous.
You'd much rather them be there booing.
I haven't been offered a free ticket in 3 years, and it's happened 3 times in the past few weeks.
It's just, I think people always had a very complicated relationship with this core, clearly, and how they've been so great in regular seasons, and it's gone bad in the playoffs, and we've seen how nasty it's gotten after they've gone early. I really think that people were just dying for a reason to quit on this group. Like, I don't think people have a lot of belief. Like, I don't know. You guys have Leafs conversations every day. People come to you to talk Leafs. Who's saying, "Oh yeah, they'll be back fine next year"? Like, I don't get the sense that people have that belief. This franchise is in a dangerous spot right now because I don't think people know what the hell they're doing, and that's a bad spot to be with your fans.
I think the worry is that they kind of do a half-ass, let's see if we can run it back next year. You come out of the gates, 15-15, and you're in 7th in the division, and it's almost Christmas. And then you start having to have the conversations of, okay, well, Matthews isn't going to want to be here if we do a full rebuild. And you start to have tougher conversations then. And so there's a lost year as you trade your big guys. And then it's years till the picks you get from if you don't pick a direction soon, I think that this can be painful.
Yeah.
I
think the direction's picked for them.
Well, I think a lot of people think that. And I'll be honest, I don't think you're wrong.
No, I mean, all year I've been kind of dancing around that, if they had a smart offseason but I guess it's just getting harder and harder to see it with all these games I'm watching. But
it's not hard. It's not hard. No, it was not hard for them, for anybody to believe that it would have sunk to this level. Okay, they were division champions last year, and I get the Marner thing. I get it. I think people have underestimated like his value.
Sure.
And but there's so much more behind it, including going with two goalies who had horrible reputations for staying healthy, couldn't stay healthy.
Part of the risk,
right?
Sure.
Guys slowing down. Morgan Riley slowed down this year. John Tavares slowed down this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin still hasn't found his touch back, his 50 and 60 goal touch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of things that went wrong here.
Like, I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion that there will at least be a new coach next year. And I'm that's not any inside information, but Austin's 2 worst years of his career have been with Berube, and there's been significant fall off from most of their guys. I think at the very least you start there.
There was a lot of good looks out of Berube coaching last year.
See, but the numbers didn't like him. Yeah, like they got a lot of points. But they won an insane amount of 1-goal games, which is never really great. They got great goaltending. Like everything kind of went right.
I
good
think
puck touches.
It's easy to look back on this year through the lens of this year and say, they defended hard. They packed the middle of the ice last year. There's a few games, no question, where we came in here and said, wow, where would they be without their goaltending? I get it.
Yeah.
But like they were looking like they were competing a lot, like, at least last year. This year, I mean, to use an East Coast
Tanev gave him a really good year last year.
I just evaluating next year while watching these games right now, to use an East Coast term, while the arse is out of her right now, like it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you're going to see in the next however many games that's going to make you think that next year can be great. But
There's nothing to be learned for the next 20 games?
That they don't want to play for Craig Berube basically is the only thing you're going to learn. Like I don't think there's anything.
Yeah.
What can you learn?
No. I think that's what I think.
Jacob Quillen played 8 minutes on Saturday night. It's just like it's just going to be Yarncroc and Lorentz and all these guys just playing again. It's not going to be
it's not just the Leafs here where big decisions are going to happen on big name players, right? Like you look at other Canadian teams with American captains, Brady Tkachuk, and a Canadian captain in Connor McDavid. Like there's going to be potential for seismic shocks in the next year in the NHL.
Yeah, I try at the draft.
Yeah. Like even with those names.
It'll start.
Yeah.
No question. And I said this to Elliot, like once Nyes' name's out there, like
it's hard to get it back.
It's hard to get it back. And, can't be easy for some of those guys either to be listening to guys like us daily or having people report back to them who listen.
I don't get the Nyes thing at all. This guy is exactly what they need. Like if you could go find
I know, but it's like two rabbits, man. You need them to multiply. It's just not enough. He's just not enough by himself.
You gonna go get your 4 quarters for your dollar and pretend they're all dollars?
That's what they want. They want 3 for 1 right now. That's what you hope that Nyes can bring you.
Oh,
like
God.
3 blue chips.
Yeah.
And is Nyes ready to help a team go to the next level and contend? Probably. But that's not where your program is at right now.
Is my program
and
trying to win or not?
How old is he? What is he, 38?
No, he's
23.
not 38, Sam. It's not, but you need more grade A prospects or players.
Yeah, I get it. I just hate that one. I'd rather trade Willie. It's
okay.
It's based on a
listen
arc and a path.
Come the draft or the summer or next year, that has to be on the table.
Yeah,
has to be on the table. Trading Willie or eventually Austin. Those things have to be on the table for this team to go and try to recoup and contend again. And probably, I think 3 or 4 years is a realistic goal.
If you're flipping Austin, if you're trading Austin, you're not contending. Like this is your only hope.
Next year?
Well, next year, the year after.
Yes.
The year after.
That's fair.
You need.
I think that's fair.
A 1C. You need that dude. And he is, as much as he's fallen off, he's still elite. And there's still another gear. I think you try with another coach. I get why they want to try again next year, but they have to actually try again next year. They're kind of going, Either way.
Let's go to Craig Berube with a Kyper's Clipper. Man, it took us a while to get one.
What do we even have?
Austin Matthews struggles. I want to hear Craig Berube's.
You're going to love this.
Yeah, no, I there's probably a number of things. I think he does get his looks and, hit some posts and goalies made good saves. But I talked to the whole team today about just getting a little more greasy around the net and getting to the blue paint and getting more pucks into that area. And, just Tampa Bay scored 2 goals by doing that. One goes off a guy and bounces off Kyper, and it's just putting pucks in that area. So I think we can all do a better job as a whole team of getting more pucks into the blue paint and getting some second and third looks around there. And that, sometimes that's what you got to do to score some goals when it's tough.
So he just hits the post and everybody's got to be better.
If you offered me Austin Matthews scores 0 goals over the next 19 games or whatever it is, but he's healthy going into summer, let's do it. I don't want him going to the blue paint.
How about a Quinn Hughes return of 4 pretty good pieces?
For Matthews?
Yeah.
Then you're doing just such a different thing, which is if that's the direction, that's the direction. I'm not ready to do it. No.
Do you think if Austin gets back a level of 50, 60, this would turn the Leafs into a contending team again?
Well, I think
how far are they off outside of Austin Matthews doing his thing?
Well, this is the myriad things this year where you go, okay, well, give me that, Matthews. Can I have Chris Tanev from last year too? Can I have that back? Can I have the goaltending I got from Stolarz and Wall when they played the year before? Can I have this, Matthew Nye's healthy and in his prime now? Can I have, there's a lot of things they want to go right. So if it's everything's the same and Matthews is a 55 goal scoring Selke winner, they miss the playoffs again. But can I have all the other stuff? Then maybe.
When did this Matthew Nye's not healthy thing start? I mean, at the end?
Well, leading into the Olympics. Well, actually, after Christmas, when his coach was like, yeah, he's battling something that gets worse every time he plays, but we just can't take him out.
A groin? I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it's a great safety net when I don't play well, that I'm just not healthy. It seems to be going around a little bit more.
I think there was some times this year where he actually wasn't healthy. But I think you're also maybe onto something there. Want to break?
All right.
Did you see any Oliver Ekman-Larsson stuff over the weekend?
No.
Okay, we can talk about that a little bit after the break.
Okay, plenty more on this Leaf Hour edition of our program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Back after these words. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Real Kyper and Bourne show. OEL.
Like I was saying, these guys are no good.
Stop
Another
it.
uplifting hour of
Pick it
radio
up.
for the Golden Maple Leafs here.
Sammy, what's OEL saying about his week?
We can talk about it. There's 2 clips. Play his first clip, Derek, on him not getting traded. Go ahead. Clip 1.
No, it's hard, especially for me. I think I said that I wanted to stay, wanted to be here, and we love it here. So I think that makes it even harder.
What was it like when you found out, you are staying?
Yeah, no, obviously a relief and obviously happy. And yeah, like I said, I think since day one and kind of when that talk came out, I think been pretty clear what I wanted to do and that I still believe in this team and wanted to be here, like I said. So, no, it's a tough day. It's a weird day. Just trying to keep myself busy with the little guy and worked pretty good.
So that was from Saturday. So that was him. I mean, he sounds. This is the other. Go ahead. I was just going to play the other clip.
Yeah.
Clip 2, please.
When you go through a few days like this, do you have to mend any fences or anything? Do you understand?
I don't know. I was just, like I said, just happy to still be here, and that's what I wanted, and that's what my family wanted. So super excited about that, and like I said, I still have a lot of belief in this organization and love being here. So I haven't really. I was trying not to think about it too much at the same time, but it was pretty tough.
What a pro.
You got to move the trade deadline day. 22, 23 games. Guys are tired. They're just not thinking. Like, it's too stressful on the whole. Yeah, much earlier.
How much?
Much earlier. I don't know, 40 games, 45.
So like
50.
mid-January?
Everybody says you should know your team in 20 games. Move it to 40 or 45. But this whole thing of watching guys, and now we know that almost 40% of the league has some sort of trade protection. It's just and then watching OEL in the stands for like trade purposes only to not get traded and then go back. It's like, what are we doing here?
I can't help the 2 words I had in my head were lame duck during listening to that, because I hear a frustrated OEL, probably mad about what happened, being jerked around a little bit here, and just going, I just got to hang on and see if other people are making decisions. That's, how can you as a coach, when all of us idiots are out here talking about, is it going to be a new coach, is it going to be a new whatever, and you're on the bench for that team, and a coach is saying, hey, block a shot, lay out in front of that one, do whatever. You're like, all right, well,
Definitely.
maybe for the next guy.
I'll get the next shot.
Yeah, I just think it's a tough spot when you got guys who are mad about it and they're like, let's just hang on and see what next year looks like. If Tree and Berube are back, I wonder if it changes things for a guy like OEL who feels frustrated about what happened here. I thought he handled that very well.
It was
Maybe
weird.
I'm overreading into that.
The whole thing with the sitting the guys was weird because I think he talked about it.
I liked it.
No, like it was. But
Yeah.
if you're going to sit him, trade him.
Yeah.
Trocheck
Well,
with
yeah,
New York.
I guess it happened. Yeah,
The
that happened.
kids. I don't know how old this kid, 8 or 9.
Not getting traded.
Like
This
that.
kid.
Everybody told me we're moving.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's tough.
It's just so publicized now. Everything's just so out there that you just, to your point, it's like, okay, I'm gone. They're sitting me out.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell me then,
You come back in for a non-playoff push. Like, I don't know. How do you get up for those games? Hockey's a sport where you got
I
to be
think
committed,
it'll help.
man.
I think it would help if they moved it January.
But like this might
February
be the same thing.
at the
What would be different for OEL? Just be a longer march to the finish line, wouldn't it?
Well, first of all, I got news for you. You ain't sitting OEL out at the 40-game mark when you think you're still in it. That's what it'll do.
You think that part of the reason they were out is they're like, we don't really care if we win or lose, so
Oh, the trade deadline, they know they're done. They're
Yeah.
cooked.
Yeah.
So it's sit in the stands. But if I still think I'm in a playoff race and you're my best defenseman, I may still think about trading you, but I ain't taking you off the ice.
I think the league has to decide how much it likes trades happening, because I think people love it. I think the fans really enjoy the potential movement.
It's always been the best sport for a trade deadline.
And I think pushing the deadline earlier gives teams you're buying for longer. You're getting 30 games of a guy instead of 20 games. Maybe there's more incentive to make trades. Would you cap giving no moves or no trades? Yeah, like per team.
And then the only way you get it back is if you...
5 guys can get them. Sorry, we've already given ours out. 3?
3.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Your 3 best players.
I got to think about that.
Your franchise slots. Your 3 best players.
I'm kicking around the idea in my head that UFA is going to be really bad. I don't know if for a while. Do you ever see, or like Alan Walsh tweeted this weekend that revenues are crazy?
In 3 years they're going to go up to
cap's like 125 million or something, 30 million more than it is right now.
How many teams can go there?
Well, that's interesting too. But I do think that teams are so able to keep their guys. Less guys are going to go to free agency because it's tough to get guys. So if you're a bad team, you could potentially be going to the deadline and saying, we're trying to add Nyes, and we're trying to add Nemec, and we're trying to add Robert Thomas. Like, you're adding as a bad team because UFA doesn't help you anymore. You sell, and then you're just bad. There's no way to get guys back outside of the draft if UFA is bad.
It's so locked.
So locked.
That's actually interesting and scary.
So is there another way to get good when you're bad?
Oh, my gosh.
Outside just waiting 5 years.
It's like playing Monopoly, but, you do not pass go, do not collect $200, go straight to jail.
If you're in tough, you're in tough.
I can't help but make it this about the Leafs.
Yeah, well, that's the hour for it. Their timing is incredibly bad here.
Couldn't be worse.
Imagine if you had signed those 4 guys, their core 4, and then heard the cap's going up $30 million, and all of a sudden you get to surround them with whoever you can get.
Hockey players.
Hockey players.
Not Andre Kasha.
Alas, that did not happen.
No, it really feels like, I think, was it you that tweeted about this? That teams now that have their young players right now, for example, Montreal, they're just in the best position you could possibly be in, where your guys are developing and you're able to pay them, and the cap's going to continue to go up, and their contracts are going to go down. Like, it's just
think about how frustrated Leaf fans will be in the next few years when you have all this cap space, but there's no players. They're all locked in on long-term deals, right? Very few. Yeah. I don't know what 2 years is going to look like. You think there's a chance that a Brady Tkachuk or a Connor McDavid even gets to July 1st? Not a snowball's chance.
They'll just get paid. It'll be a Kypreos.
They will get moved
we just need our guy
for assets, and they will re-up a year in advance.
Of course they will. By the way, yeah, Montreal has Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, all for years and years, under $8 million each.
Oh,
they're going to lose the Gallagher money, the Anderson money.
Business is booming for them.
And they have the assets to go and entice weaker teams.
Yeah,
the good players like a Matthew Nyes.
Yeah, you hear people going like, hey, could Connor McDavid just want to play in Toronto? Could that be part of how this thing gets turned around? It's like, how does that even happen? Like, what, you're going to trade with Edmonton for?
One of my favorite things to do is joke about that. There's just no chance.
Like, if Connor looked at the Leafs and was like, God, they got picks, they got prospects coming, they're on the way up.
He's like, he doesn't want to play with Bo Gruel.
No.
Do you? I mean, now that we're past the deadline, and the goal for most Leaf fans is lose, correct? And they seem like they are going to reciprocate the fans. Well, not the people in the building. How low do you think they can go? Like, how bad of hockey of a stretch do you think this is going to be? Because I could tell you their next games, it's not pretty.
Let's have it.
All right, let me quickly pull it up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to know, so let's just see.
They're
Montreal, Anaheim, Buffalo.
Montreal, Anaheim, Buffalo, Wild, Islanders, Hurricanes, Senators, Bruins.
The problem, Sam, you could have said anyone. They're not favorites against anyone.
But those are all playoff teams.
Right.
Well, except outside of Ottawa, who's playing like one.
I guess they're favorites against Calgary, Chicago, Vancouver.
Yeah.
I don't know, Sam. If it looks like what we've seen in the past couple of weeks, then there's a good chance they'll lose 70 or 80% of these games.
which probably is going to get them
into
the
No, I think it's still hard for them to get
to this number 6.
Yeah.
That's where they're going to end up.
Right?
Yeah.
How do they get their pick back? Who they going to beat out? Who are they going to beat out?
Yeah, you look at the bottom of the standings, and it's Vancouver, the Rangers, Blackhawks, Calgary, and St. Louis. St. Louis tried to get worse, but God, St. Louis has 59 points, and the Leafs have 65. 6-point head start for fifth last. Is St. Louis going to gain that much ground on them?
Flames, Blackhawks, Rangers, and Vancouver ain't gaining on anyone.
No.
So it's basically that blue spot.
The Jets.
Well,
Jets
you know what
might
they
make
can do? They
playoffs.
can start resting players. Is that an option? Let's listen to Craig Berube talk about it. Clip 8.
Listen to me a couple weeks ago.
Well, they just got off a big break. I get that, but I think that we've managed it pretty well. I think, we just had some days off here and stuff, so I don't feel guys are in that area yet where they need more rest. I would know.
They
Good
definitely
for
don't.
him.
They definitely don't need
Good for him.
rest.
I'd grind them.
Well, hey,
I'd grind them right to the end of the season.
he's coaching for his not just this job, his next job. He can't look like a joke.
I'd be introducing the hour and 20 practice.
Yeah, let's.
Mandatory.
You're a
No, he's
sick
right.
puppy.
He's
No,
right.
I would. I'd Wallies, down and backs.
Yeah,
you
army
name it.
crawl. Why don't we listen to?
You want to be here, really? You don't want to be here when it's miserable.
You want to hear what John Cooper thinks of where they're at?
Oh God, John
Coop?
Cooper. Yeah, sure. This is from Saturday night.
What do you got for us, pal?
Yeah.
I mean, they have a fabulous core still there of players. I think it's a team that is probably, in a situation it has been in for a while and probably won't be again next year. I think this will be, if they don't make, this is probably going to be a one-off for them because they've got a good group. And so, and those can be tough. I always think, too, the day after trade deadline is a tough day because some teams' buddies have left. Some teams have new guys that have come in. I think there's always potential chemistry issues. Sometimes you get a bump, sometimes you don't. So it's a weird day, the day after.
I don't know. Give him credit.
They'll be
He
back.
tried.
It's a one-off. They still got a good core, good group there.
He's like, I'm praying they keep these guys around. Was that not Marchand? They're the best. March Marner is my favorite player in the league. Like, was that not?
He's always been kind to the
Changed
Leafs, though,
nothing.
off the air.
Well, you think
It's
Publicly.
the same cast of characters.
Okay, look me in the eye.
What?
That was genuine?
I don't. We know what he's trying to do, but he's not. He's not going to beat on them. He's not going to kick a dog when he's down.
There's plenty of people doing that.
Oh, yeah. So whole
Can I tell you
cities
something?
were-
Did we all watch Tampa and Buffalo yesterday?
Oh my goodness, we did.
Boys. So a couple of years ago, John Cooper told somebody I know that, like, Florida is just bigger and stronger, and they just beat the crap out of us, and I'm putting an end to it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have turned themselves into the Florida Panthers right now.
You think? Well, Tampa Bay is always. Yeah, they got that bit
Oh,
of bite.
yeah.
Brandon Hagel.
Oh,
is
yeah.
like
They're not afraid of that.
No,
They're not
and
afraid
good
of
on Buffalo, man, because they were right there toe-to-toe yesterday.
Rasmus
it
Dahlin
was
is
fun.
finding out that he's got to answer the bell sometimes, and he's not lying.
But
We're still in our Leafs hour.
you can't let that go.
What's that? Hagel
Yes,
pounding on him with the
yes,
glove?
Yeah, on your captain.
Not a great. Yeah, oh, I see.
Oh,
But
no, he
So
can't finish the game.
Dahlin fought. Who did he fight earlier in the game? Crap.
He got hit from behind.
He fought someone else and got his got beat up pretty good.
All
And
right,
then
Sammy,
he didn't want it
pull
a
in the
second
reins
time.
on us.
There's a really thrilling lineup change, guys, that I want you to hear about. Cowan, Quillen, and Robertson are going to be playing together tomorrow night. And let's hear how the coach came to that decision. Clip 7, please. Berube, clip 7.
Well, when I put the other lines together, so that's where he fit in right now. But we'll see. I plan on using Cowboy as much as I can if it's warranted, and if he's going, I'll move him around. But he's on a power play too, so Robertson and Cowan had some real good chemistry for a stretch with Nick Waugh. They were pretty good together, and I thought they were good out here together today too.
It's like when you build a shelf and you got all these other parts, and you're like, I don't know, put them all in one Ziploc bag.
Reminds me of my crack in the NHL with the Washington Capitals. I was on line with Rob Murray and Robin Bawa.
Yeah.
And they called us the kid line. And then by November, we were the you got to be kidding me line.
Yeah,
it's tough.
But it's funny because you can hear Berube be like, I know you guys want me to play Cowan. I get it. If he deserves it. And by the way, I support this.
You just can't play him guardrails.
Yeah, you can't just give him first line minutes if he's no good. If he's looking good, playing good, I'll move him around. That's cool. But
get ready for more of those clips, boys. 19 games for that.
No more Quillen Lawrence Yarncroke for me.
If there was any show where we accomplished nothing and solved nothing.
Well, tune in tomorrow. Try again.
Okay. Let's spread it around the infield. Or is it the outfield?
We got chaos hour coming, pal.
Let's go.
Bob Stauffer to talk a little Edmonton Oilers. Big win last night in Vegas. Rick Dhaliwal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you think how unsteady will his camera be?
Probably.
Just a constant
That's
earthquake.
all
for
I
15
want to
minutes.
know. We go national next on the Real Kyper Bourne Show. Don't go away. All right. Time to kick it up a gear on the Real Kyper and Bourne show as we go national. What do you say, boys?
I mean, I just said so much in the last hour.
We're live on Sportsnet. Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. Also available Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, where we appreciate a thumbs up. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Bob Stauffer, host of Oilers Now on Ched. The Oilers with a big win, almost a playoff type of win where they kind of shut down Vegas last night defensively. Ingram with a pretty solid game. He let in one stinker, but that came on an offside goal. So
Didn't matter. Didn't happen.
it didn't happen.
Never happened.
It's like it never happened.
How nice.
I don't know what's going on with Vegas, boys, but this is a team. I think I saw a stat. Maybe you sent it.
The one that haven't beat a playoff team?
Yeah, since November.
We've been talking about that for like a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to start paying more
We've only
attention.
said that on the show like 10 times or so.
It's fine, pal.
Well, okay.
It's still really weird
Really
and
weird.
very noteworthy. They did since beat a playoff team in overtime. I forget.
Anyway,
They are doing much worse than expected. Why? I have them as one of the two best defensive teams in the NHL by a lot of like the expected goals stuff. And
They beat the Red Wings in overtime.
correct, that's who it was. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. Stone out again.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
He's such a good player, and I get it. You know, he's just so super smart that it's his lack of foot speed or whatever you think might be slowing down on him isn't a factor when he's healthy.
I just don't think it matters. Like, okay, Anaheim's first in the division. You know, they're third and Edmonton's second. Like, It's all, is Edmonton and Vegas, are they going to play in the first round or the second round? Like, if they're going to play each other, that's going to be the teams likely, isn't it?
It's the NHL's traditional Monday afternoon game for some reason.
Right now, yeah.
On TV, and it's Columbus and the Kings. And as you guys were talking, they're doing a vignette in the intermission. And our boy, Doug McLean, announcing Rick Nash coming up to this. I looked over at the screen. I thought we were having Nick on we were having Doug McLean on for some reason. Like, did he make a surprise appearance? So,
And Sammy, no real idea why this game's going on right now.
all I know is Scott Lawton scored. So
Last week, they did a similar time game. They're trying to get more games in prime time in Europe, is my understanding.
Okay.
I don't have any.
That makes sense.
Is it okay? Like once in a while, have a game that people can watch.
What time did this? What Eastern puck drop was this?
4 p.m. Eastern.
So that'd be what
10 o'clock at night?
10 in Italy.
Is that where we're trying to market now, Italy?
I happen to know the time change from the Olympics.
Yeah,
Vaguely.
I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right.
Just overall thoughts, because we thought maybe Binnington was out there. I guess there were a few calls, but nothing really came about it. Bobrovsky, a lot of talk about Bobrovsky going into his last year of his contract and whether or not he could potentially get moved. There was no action, no sniffs on both those guys.
That's so bizarre. No goalies got moved. I mean, I said, and I don't know if I was right on this, but there's just no way they're going to move a core piece of their Stanley Cups when they intend to next year go do it again. I think they're going to have that guy be a part of it.
But what kind of contract are they going to give him? It's going to be one with a lot of term. Like, I don't know. That's a scary one of his age.
Yeah.
Didn't
it
Valley
is.
come on our show literally 2 months ago? He say he's done.
We also have to talk Tristan Jarry for goalies, but we have the man for that. I'll hand it over to you, Kevin.
All right, Bob Stauffer, host of Oilers Now. Bob, what's going on, bud? Where are you? You got the look of I just got off the craps table.
No, thankfully we flew out of Vegas last night and got into Denver, got to the hotel about 2:30 in the morning. So it's a beautiful day here, about 70 Fahrenheit. And Oilers obviously a much needed win last night.
Yes. Yeah. Can you just talk about the win and not just the win, but how they won? Not giving up 4 or 5 goals like we've seen probably the last few weeks here. And how important was that look of the win last night in Vegas?
Well, I don't know how good Vegas is playing. I do need to state that because Carolina drilled the Oilers on Friday. Like Carolina can really skate. They play that high pressure game. But when Edmonton won their 16 straight games, in Chris Knobloch's first year here in 23-24, they gave up 24 goals against. And the Oilers can score. They're tied for the second highest scoring team in the league with Montreal at 3.55 goals per game. But they've had two stretches this year where I think they've given up 40-plus goals in like 9 games. And the first stretch resulted in Connor Ingram getting recalled, and then the trade for Tristan Jarry. And then the second stretch here has been over the last 10 or 11 games before last night. So it was important that they only gave up a couple. Ingram battled, which is all you can ask for. He's actually, I have a quality starts, and he's had 16 starts as an Oiler. He's given him 10 quality starts. That's 62%. That's a decent number for a goalie. And unfortunately for Tristan Jarry, he's he hasn't really been the same since he got hurt in Boston back. I guess that would have been December 18th. Struggling to find his game a bit here. He's had an .855 save percentage in the 9 decisions that he's had since he's come off that injury. And they gotta eventually get him going, because you make that trade under the belief that he has a higher. And I want to be careful how I say this, because I really like Stuart Skinner. I played for the same athletic club at Edmonton as Stuart. Watched him as far back in the 12-13 lockout year when he went head-to-head with Carter Hart a lot. And I know some of his family members, but I think that Tristan probably has a higher ceiling. He certainly handles the puck better, maybe a little bit more athletic. Unfortunately, we haven't necessarily seen that come to fruition to date here at Edmonton. And that's part of the reason why you guys were briefly talking about Bennington and whether or not could he be an option. But I think they need to see what they got with Jarry and Ingram, and they need those guys to at least, be stable in the pipes. It's not the easiest team to play for at times, and the team's got to play better defensively in front of the goalies as well.
Bob, some of the underlying metrics, obviously the Oilers score like crazy, but they don't defend super well. Do you think that, possibly that has some effect on Jarry here? Like, could it end up being Ingram and not him when they get to playoffs? Is Jarry struggling to sort of make that adjustment into the system there? And since you're just going to talk about the goaltending for another sec, there was some reports about him kind of getting into it, I think, from you in practice with some guys. I don't know if that means anything.
I was all I said is I'm watching the goals going in practice, and one of the things that Calvin Pickard did is Calvin Pickard battled hard in practice. Like, here's the thing: Podkolzin's taken off here, and Savoy's going to be fine because of their work rate in practice, and it translates to the game. And one of the things that Pickard had is I don't think Calvin is would be. I mean, he was in the minors basically for 3 or 4 years, but he competed hard in practice. And I think there was a couple. I watched a couple of practices, and the pucks are going in, and I'm seeing some looks, and I used the word salvo, but I didn't mean it like there was a verbal tete-a-tete. I meant it like, guys firing, launching pucks, and find a way to make some stops. And especially in light of the fact there was a game against Minnesota, who've owned Edmonton, where Tristan talked about the team defense in front of him. Since then, he's not done that. Since then, he's talked about his accountability for making more saves, and which is kind of what Sergei Bobrovsky does. So I think some words may have been taken a little out of context there, and maybe I didn't use the best words. So I will say this: they got to get more out of both guys. The team has to play better in front of both guys, and they have to use more guys. They have to use more players, and Stan Bowman's done his part to try to help that out, right? Like he went out and found a sort of a shutdown defenseman that's a good penalty killer in Connor Murphy, and he found a third-line center in Jason Dickinson that's a good penalty killer. Those guys were part of the best penalty killing unit in the NHL in Chicago, and the Oilers penalty killing unit needed to improve. He also got Colton Dock. Colton played 3 minutes through the first 2 periods last night and was a part of a goal. Like, I think you got to use more guys on the team here. So there's lots going on. They've underperformed as a team collectively to date. And I think that the way it's going to happen is they're going to need everybody pulling the rope to get to where they ultimately want to get to.
You're watching and listening to Bob Stauffer, host of the Oilers Now on Ched. Stauf, so how much pressure is on Knobloch to squeeze more out of his bottom 6 now with a couple of additions here because at some point you think, and it's happened in the playoffs, whether you think it happened in Game 7 or not, there's a break point for even Connor and Leon. So, I mean, is Knobloch under the gun here to squeeze more minutes out of these guys?
I think having a general manager whose father is the greatest coach in the history of the game probably helps out a bit, because I think Stan understands coaching about as well as anybody. And then he worked with a really good coach for a number of years in Chicago with Joel Quenneville. When Stan executed the 2 trades, he spoke on Thursday and talked about the fact that we needed to build a team. And we needed, the management needed to do more to provide some more options for Chris Knobloch. And I think the message is pretty clear that Chris needs to capitalize on the fact that he's got a third-line center that enjoys going up against other teams' top guys, and a second pairing right shot D. And I'm a big believer in lefty-righty combinations, a right shot D that knows his role. It's crazy when you think about it, and I'm just going to throw this back at both of you. We just watched Team Canada play in the Olympics, and most of us would say John Cooper amongst the top 3 coaches in the NHL. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, all day long.
Okay.
Yes.
He did the same thing that Chris. He did what, like Justin. Is he a top 3 coach in the league?
Yeah.
Okay. He did the same thing that Chris did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not for 82 games.
Yeah, but he loaded up with David's line. And I could get in a whole other conversation, and all you needed to do is look at a play in the first period of last night's game as to why Bouchard should have been on the team. Bouchard should have been there for McDavid. McCarr should have been there for McKinnon. They could have had 2 attack units with 2 D forward, D center combinations that have synchronicity. They didn't do that. And there's the best coach in the game, and he loaded up one line against the Americans as well, and didn't get enough throughout the rest of his lineup in the medal round. Now, maybe Nate was a little bit banged up. They didn't have Sid, whatever the case. There's a guy that's one of the best coaches with one of the deepest teams we've ever seen. The Oilers are not Team Canada. They're not that deep, but I do think you got to use more players. So how much pressure he's under? I think to me, it's a pretty simple message. Just execute what the management went out and found you some more players, use more players. Nick, you were a 4th-line player when you played. Everybody wants to feel, and you willed yourself to the NHL, but everybody wants to feel a part of it. And I think it's hard to get in the game if you've got 3 minutes through the first 2 periods of the game. And oh, by the way, when you're asking guys to go out and show gamesmanship and energy and hit, and they do that and they score, I think you got to find a way to keep those players involved. And I think you will. I think carrying forward here with Chris, you'll see that.
Stauf, I have to ask you, Ryan Whitney floated out there on the Spit and Chicklets podcast that you could manage the team or a team. Do you have interest in getting involved in that side of things? Did
you email that podcast to Stan or any other team in the league?
Ryan, I think I bought Ryan a coffee once at a Starbucks in Pittsburgh back in 2011. But with all seriousness, I think he said it half in a lark. And it got picked up. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, this is year 18 for me, okay? And I really like Kevin Lowe, even before I came to work for the organization. And I do work directly for the organization. But I think this is the best managed the team's been, and I can prove it. Because, and you don't have to like every trade that got made during the course of this year and every move that's been made, but they understand that they've moved out draft capital and they've been much more assertive in player development. They've found players in Europe. You have to find players today in the NCAA because all the rules have changed between major, junior, and NCAA. And the Oilers had success last year, and I expect them to have a very successful run. This has been headed up by Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman. They got a guy named Kelly Larson. They're in a better place, backfilling their lineup to push some support for their top end talent, in lieu of the fact that they're moving draft capital out to replace it. So they're in a fine position. And, as soon as I saw that from Ryan, I said, way to go. Thanks a lot. But it ain't happening. They can't be that desperate. Trust me. They're in a good spot.
Trent Frederick, when he was in Boston, I loved every part of his game. And to see what he was there in Boston and the demand for him, obviously, at the trade deadline to the point where the Oilers invested 8 years in him, to what you see out of today. Like, there's so much more he can give here. What have you seen that isn't working, and where's his upside still for the Edmonton Oilers?
So how long does it take to come off a high ankle sprain, Nick?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
For
a
some
long
guys,
time.
It takes a long time. I think he's moved better since coming back from the Olympic break. He's scored a couple times. And I would expect to see his minutes get increased as the season goes on. And they have to make this work with him. I mean, they've invested 8 years. He wasn't right in last year's playoffs. I felt bad for him. But he's a decent guy. He does have courage. I don't think, from a technical perspective, I don't think he's certainly not Matthew Olivier when it comes to fighting, but there might be 2 or 3 guys left in the league. But does he show up and provide some, character and toughness and a little bit of gamesmanship for the team? I think that'll come as he gets more, but I think he's just got to play some more minutes. And again, I think you'll see, McDavid's playing 23 minutes right now. Leon's playing 22. For me, it wouldn't be the end of the world if they got those guys down to 21 and 19 by the end of the year and incorporated, you're going to have to play 4 lines in the playoffs anyways. You're going to have to use more guys. And I think what happens here is when there's a little bit of stress on the team, we can put Connor and Leon together. And this year, for whatever reason, it's basically been just a little bit better than a push 5v5. So I think you'll see more players get deployed down the stretch here. And they got a tough stretch. They're not a guaranteed lock to make the playoffs. And it would be a significant disappointment if they didn't, based upon the preseason prognostications for the team.
I got to believe that if they do get in, I'm looking at the Pacific and Anaheim, Vegas is struggling, Seattle, it's still the Oilers, isn't it?
Well, Vegas is, to me, a really well-run organization. I'm not sure what's going on there.
We said the same thing. I don't know.
Well, they haven't been getting a save either.
Yeah, big part.
Well, I mean, last night, you had the 2 teams with the lowest 5-on-5 save percentage in the league playing, Edmonton and Vegas. So
think about that.
At the end of the day, stop the puck. And with goalies, I expect goalies to work and compete and battle and stop the puck. And then, I get spoiled because I watched Grant Fuhr growing up. I mean, Grant Fuhr took ownership on the Steve Smith bank shot into his own net. He said, I should have had that one. I mean, that was kind of a joke, right? But that's the way Grant was. And so, Anaheim's good. They've, Joel Quenneville's a really good coach. They got 4 great young, big forwards. They're all 6'1" to 6'3". They've all got skill. They've got a 1-2 punch down the middle with Carlson and McTavish. Seneca, I'm still trying to figure out. Well, actually, it's Hockey Canada. I couldn't figure out how that would happen. I'm trying to figure out how he wasn't on the World Junior team a couple years ago. That's just guy was a 3rd overall pick. He's a hell of a player. And then Cutter Gauthier. I mean, they've got some veterans there, and they just added Carlson. They're going to be a tough out. Mm-hmm. But there's no question the 3 deepest teams in the West are all in the one division, and they're going to play Colorado tomorrow, and they've loaded right up.
So, just in terms of the Paul Coffey factor here coming back, and maybe we saw a little bit of it last night with a tighter look. But who benefits the most? Which player benefits the most with Paul Coffey back?
Well, I do think he can breed some confidence into players. The guy he really helped a lot. He's not here anymore, but he got a lot out of Brett Kulak, right? I mean, he did. The configuration's going to be a little bit different. I think Jake Wallman was concussed at the start of the year and really has had some challenges. I think he had a little bit of a groin issue for a while. Ekholm and Bouchard have basically since been December the 1st. I can make an argument that Evan Bouchard's been the best defenseman in the league since December the 1st. The problem is people see the highlights of the giveaway that leads to a goal. Well, that happens with other great players too because they got the puck a lot. So that pairing's pretty good. So I think it might be, second and third pairings and their confidence level in making plays and handling pucks. And if you make a mistake, go get it back, and that's kind of what Paul brought is, I don't know if a coach can bring, I hate the word swagger, but let's just say confidence. I think that, sometimes coaches can reinforce confidence by not trying to break players down and building them up, but just by reinforcing positively. And I think that that's something that Paul does well.
And Nurse, sometimes the whipping boy there too as well.
Yeah, I think actually Bouchard gets it worse than Nurse.
Oh, really?
I got to tell
Okay.
I for a percentage of the, maybe more so from a couple of the writers, but Darnell, one thing about Darnell is he cares, right? He's engaged. There's never an issue on that. And I mean, he had a 3-year window where he played a lot with McDavid and was, like plus 20 every year. And he's kind of been, and now it's Ekholm and Bouchard, right? So I would say that Darnell would be the first to tell you he's got lots more game to give. And I'm going to be intrigued to see how he settles in with his pairing with Emerson, because it looks like they're going to play Wallman with Connor Murphy. No, I can't reinforce the importance of those Chicago guys having specified roles delineated for what they do. One guy's a third line center that can match up and take some hard minutes on, and the other guy is a right shot D that is primarily defensive, and both guys can kill penalties. And this team's penalty killing went from 11th to 26th over a span of about 15 games, so it needed some work.
Stauf, the Oilers and the Leafs are in different situations. The Leafs are bottoming out here and trying to figure out which direction they're going to go. But part of that here in Toronto comes with what do you do with Austin Matthews? He's got 2 years on his 2 seasons left on his deal, and there's concern, particularly the American factor. Will he be around? Will he be a part of what's next? Connor McDavid, obviously Canadian, team is successful. It's a different situation, but a couple of years left. Does that play into the importance of winning now, or how things are thought about there? Does it come up at all? Because I'm just asking because the superstar thing comes up here in Toronto all the time.
Yeah, it's an absolutely fair question, and yes, it comes up. I mean, Leon signed an 8-year deal.
Yeah.
Brian Lawton, and I know Nick, you talked to Brian, and
Yep.
Brian went on my show on March the 1st of 2024 and said that it would be 8 years, $14 million for Leon. That would be the price point. And 6 months later, that was the price point. It's kind of funny because Brian and me talked about bridging Holloway and Broberg in November of 23. And then when those guys were both down in the minors in March, I'm like, you got to strike here. You got to get this thing closed off. I don't know if they would have ever been able to have done that for Broberg by March of that year, but I think Holloway could have maybe been avoided. And I bring that up because I think if you're Connor, you're looking about where's the youth coming from. And the Oilers lost 2 pretty good young players there. And I think that's been the impetus for making a move like Howard.
Right.
Like Savoy got transitioned in this year, and I think Howard will be in the mix next year. And I don't think Stan's done in that regard. Stan Bowman's done in that regard. And I think that might be part of the equation for Connor. And that's why I bring it up, is you're going to have some good young players. Like if Toronto bottoms out and ends up with a top 5 pick, I'm going to tell you right now, I remember back to the Hedman draft year, right? That was Tampa, Brian Lawton overruled his scouts and took Hedman instead of Duchesne. Mm-hmm. And if I'm running the draft for a team, I would take Verhoff. I would want the right shot D, 6'4" right shot D, right?
He's a monster.
And that's Edmonton's not in that position. We hope, and it doesn't matter because they've traded their pick, but there is pressure to win, and that's why you're moving draft capital to add players to try to push this thing forward, and then why you have to reinforce, support players in your organization with, going out and getting guys out of Europe, which they're gonna, and getting more engaged than any other time in Oilers team history with NCAA as well.
Stauf, great stuff, man. Really appreciate your time stopping by. Thanks for doing this.
If you're stuck and can't get somebody better out of Edmonton, give me a call.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate your time.
A future general manager in the National Hockey League.
Hey,
Bob Stauffer.
Don't rule it out. Don't rule it out.
Don't rule it out, baby.
The Bob father.
Yeah, I thought they looked pretty good, and they looked a lot like it felt last night in Vegas a lot like playoff kind of mode. And there's always this thing that the Oilers have that they could just turn the switch on.
It's not hard to squint
including
and see it again.
Bouchard.
Yes, Bouchard, very good clutch performer, and you do a little squint, and that Dickinson ad helps, and all of a sudden Frederick, if he starts to play a little bit better, Murphy solidifies a pair.
It ultimately does that. Like, you're saying all these words and all these players, and sure, they'll be out there for 10, 11. It just doesn't. They have McDavid and Draisaitl, two of the best all-time playoff performers
the
in
only
the history
thing
of the
that's
league. It doesn't matter.
really going to decide this is whether they rolled the dice and won on Jari.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I appreciate Ingram last night, but
it's going to be a lot of Ingram.
This
Ingram's got some good numbers at times in his career.
Can he run it for 8 weeks?
By the way, has anyone ever been more fortunate than the Oilers on the one goal where Vegas tried to break it out, broke a stick, the broken stick turned it over? Leon makes a sick backhand. That was an unbelievable finish.
They just took Stu Skinner and Calvin Pickard and were like, what if we just did the same kind of thing?
But that's what everyone said to do.
No,
they
but-
said just do different.
And
Try different.
Different isn't always better.
Well,
I'll
it
tell you
couldn't
that
be
in
the same.
I'll tell you that in Toronto.
If I'm doing
is always-
different, though, I'm not doing it with a guy that has been battling and in the minors. And
All they heard was it couldn't be the same. And they said, here's not the same.
Yeah. I just think they're going to be in the final again.
The
You do?
final.
I
Are
do.
they going to beat the Central winner?
Maybe. It's 2 rounds. Someone gets hurt. McDavid and Leon are going. If I had to pick a
and
team
Ingram's
from
your
the West,
goalie.
maybe. I mean, they had Pickard in net for a lot of these games. It's Stu Skinner who was like, they had to
I would
get rid of.
never bet against.
You guys know how
McDavid
I feel
That's how I
about
feel,
goalies
for
in
sure.
comments, but Jari, I don't know how long he was there. Like
It
barely
was way too soon.
barely enough to unpack his bags, and he made these comments publicly about the guys not being, good enough in front of me.
In fairness,
And
that's right.
It was
It's bad.
JB, you
I
know how I feel about that. Just even if it's true,
Mm-hmm.
just zip it.
Game time?
Yep.
It's game time. Presented by Bet365. It's
the best.
Okay,
The
let me
best.
start again. Let me
Thanks,
start
guys.
looking. It's game time. Presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. 5 games on tap tonight. I guess 4 after this one that's already going here. The primetime matchup of LA King and Columbus at 4 p.m. on a Monday.
Playoff game.
Big one for both teams. The couple Canadian teams in action. Calgary in Washington to take on the Capitals. As you would imagine, Calgary's a big underdog in that
Yeah.
game. And guess what? They're going to be a big underdog in every game they play against, unless they play the Leafs still on the schedule, but I'm not sure they do. Plus 160 on the money line there. Capitals minus 190 on the money line. And the Vancouver Canucks, who we'll talk to Rick Dhaliwal about next, are hosting the Ottawa Senators. Plus 190 on the money line for the Vancouver Canucks. Minus 230 for the Ottawa
I need
Senators.
the puck line on Ottawa.
Minus 1.5 goals for the Ottawa Senator plays plus 110.
It's such a good bet.
That's a good number.
They're going to fill them in.
It's a good number. Everyone will fill in the Canucks. Anyways, that was game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Columbus just tied the score 2-2 on a goal that I could watch like 100 times, and I have no idea how it went in.
Yeah, and there's a Bobby Orr dive at the end from Boone Jenner there. Gets his skates.
I think that may be the only time those two guys have said the same sentence.
Hey, whose middle name was Orr that I said? Oh, Bobby Brink. Do you know that Bobby Brink's middle name is
Bobby
Orr?
Brink Orr.
His name is Bobby Orr Brink.
Bobby
Orr
Orr Brink.
Unbelievable. What a handle.
So, hold on.
Nominative determinism, I believe that is.
he has something that I have. My initials, Samuel McKee, spell my name. S-A-M. Bobby Orr Brink, his initial spells name, Bob.
Oh, my God, Sam.
Wow.
This is incredible news.
What a radio show.
Okay, you
Let's
lost
go.
me at.
What did I
Oh.
lose yet?
Can you repeat that, please?
No, I'll do it off air so we don't have to tell our listeners again.
Okay. From Edmonton to Vancouver, up next with Rick Dhaliwal and little Kadri. What do we think, boys? Kadri, a very happy camper in Colorado. We'll hear from him as well. That and more when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, very troubled Sammy McKee. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Sammy, what is going on with our boy Rick?
Not sure.
The thing is, we've had him before.
But he
Dhali, you know how to do it.
But he usually does it from his phone, and we've made fun of him for that, for his earthquake tendencies.
All you got to do is just put like 4 books together, and you can.
But then I think he was maybe trying to do computer, and that maybe added a new layer of technology that, I don't know. Where are we at up there? Anyone got any news for me? He's nowhere to be found. Like, we may just have to call him.
We need like a bat signal for him.
I think we're just going to call him. Boys.
Okay, let's just call him.
Okay.
The poor guy.
Or can we FaceTime him? Oh, sorry. That was on camera.
You're asking me?
He meant to hit the talkback producer button, but yeah, we all heard it. Anyway.
Garland just scored a nice goal.
He did. The goaltending was great.
That's besides the point.
Yeah. 2 goals for Connor. That's good.
You think there's a chance with that trade Columbus can squeeze in? We're watching 3-point games again on the weekend between Pittsburgh and Boston.
I do think there's a chance Columbus can make it interesting. I just don't see who comes out. Like maybe Boston could. Hey, I was going to ask you, did you see in the NFL Tua Tagovailoa? How do I say it?
Yes.
Tua Tagovailoa?
Yes.
Tua, they're eating $99 million of his salary.
99?
They're eating $99 million to let him walk.
That's the guaranteed money still coming his way.
And the owner's like, that's fine.
I think it's dead. Counts against the cap, too, for a couple years.
I'll pick that up. And like Kadri almost didn't go because the owner didn't want to eat 1.4 per year or 5 total. Or
I think we're talking a little different tax brackets between the Miami Dolphins and the Calgary.
$100 million. The owner was like, yes. I'd be like, make him a different position. He works for us.
How can people keep their jobs?
Can you try cornerback?
Yeah.
$100 million mistake.
I think once you cost your boss $100 million, that's an auto fire. Like 99 is that under the.
You're done.
Yeah. Like, listen, we love you. Everything else, every single other move was perfect, but that one cost me $100 million. We're good here. Anyway, that's.
Do you like? Okay, does that, Sammy? When you do that in the NFL, it just completely wipes out your books? Is that the whole idea?
I don't know. I can't claim to know the intricacies of the NFL CBA.
Sammy,
I know it's a bad one for the players.
Do you know when you buy out a guy like that?
Yeah, there's a certain number that, like, I think there's this thing called dead cap space or dead cap, or it counts against the cap or whatever. And I think a percentage of that will count against the cap for a number of years.
Okay.
But the NFL cap keeps going up and fake, and you can stretch. And there's.
Do you think if the NHL offered players end of the year one buyout per year that just was strictly cash on dollar for dollar, but it wipes out off your cap, owners would do it?
I think the Leafs would trade for other teams one spot and then just buy out half their players.
Like it could help.
Yeah.
The system.
You're right. Get things moving. So many times we've seen players frustrated. Was it Luongo was trying to move for years? There's guys that just get stuck because of their money.
There are some talk, too, about whether or not Edmonton could move off of Darnell Nurse's contract.
Really?
I think something was out there that I don't know if it's just a feeling out process. Someone mentioned Chicago to me as a potential landing spot.
Some retention, or
I would imagine there'd have to be some for sure. I think it's no different than a Seth Jones situation.
It's funny because the money is the same, right? Jones is 9.5. They retained down to 7 and then traded Jones for value.
Yeah.
They're probably like, all right, we're ready to be good now.
Those are still ways. So here in Toronto, of course, Morgan Riley has got, do you know offhand, Sammy, how many more years Morgan has?
Let me
4?
Confirm.
Okay, so
yes.
If I said in my trade board that I didn't believe that there was a market for Morgan Riley, but there was some talk that maybe some teams floated the idea. Of course, everything could get revisited in the summer, but if you brought Morgan down to 5, if you brought Darnell Nurse to 7.5, you watched recently the success of Seth Jones.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a market for those guys still.
Morgan, at that dollar amount, that means you could play him like a second pair guy in 18 minutes and, not against the number one matchups. Maybe you do get some value there, and maybe the Leafs can recoup something. That might be one of the ways that happens. With the cap going up, too, they're probably more inclined to do it. So I can see that happening. But
Sam, give us a Rick update.
We can't get in touch with him.
What's that?
This is very hard to do on air.
All right, well, let's just go to our NHL Hour stuff and wait for Rick.
He does a podcast, right?
Yeah, but he goes and sits in the studio. Like I don't know what's going on.
I was really looking forward to Rick.
I think we'll still get him. But
Okay.
The boys upstairs are grinding. Can we get an update in my ears?
All right, we're good.
All right, let's talk about that 8-7 hockey game last night. Buffalo Sabres get the win over the Tampa Bay Lightning. We have John Cooper
What kind of mood was he in?
to weigh in on that.
Why don't you find out? You can play
John
the clip.
Cooper, clip 1.
Oh, sorry. Maybe Derek's trying to get in touch up there.
Oh,
He's doing multiple things. Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's not going to be John Cooper.
The next voice you hear
It's going to
will
be
not
a
be Coop.
very different tempo than John Cooper. All right.
Rick Dhaliwal.
Oh, yes,
Hey!
video too.
And you're steady.
Technology. I hate it.
And you're steady.
I'm an 80s guy. I'm an 80s guy. Best decade ever. I hate this stuff. I hate it.
All right. Flock of
We
seagulls.
appreciate you doing it anyway.
Back in our day.
What's going on, my friend? It's been a while.
All I see on Canucks Twitter today. Are you ready, Kyper?
Yeah, hit me.
And Bourne?
Yep.
Fire the coach. Fire the GM.
He just got there. Please.
Fire the president. There's an article today on Twitter. Is Chris Pronger the next president? This is Vancouver. This is a lot of negativity out here, guys. But I gotta tell you, honestly, all three of those guys, Foote, Alvina, Rutherford, got term left, right? This is not an owner who's going to pay three guys not to work for him next year. And those guys come close to $5-6 million in salary. Got to pay OEL still. He doesn't even want to buy land for a practice facility in near Vancouver because the land is too expensive. So do you think he's going to pay three guys not to work for him? If you guys owned a business, would you want to pay employees not to work for you, but just pay them anyways? It's not a good business move. And the OEL pain is not gone, guys. It's another big one next year, 4.5. So, look, I can see why people want changes. This whole year was supposed to be about win for Quinn
Okay.
Hughes.
But that was now seems like forever ago. So
Yeah.
I appreciate the story still out there, but Vancouver fans have had plenty of time to realize that this is a rebuild and it's going to take time. So why all of a sudden, what would be firing these people end up doing for them right now?
Kyper, going to 32nd place was not on the template this year. You got to understand. It wasn't supposed to be. They didn't announce in the summer, we're doing a rebuild, we're going to be in 32nd place. They went to 32nd place because a ton of mistakes, Kyper. This wasn't planned. They didn't say in the summer we're going into a rebuild, we're going to be in 32nd place at Christmas. That wasn't the plan. The plan was to win for Quinn and to keep Quinn Hughes. That's why people are pissed off in Vancouver. It wasn't supposed to be to go to the bottom of the standings. That wasn't a part of the plan. I'm sorry, but that wasn't the plan to be 32nd this year. That's why people are pissed off and want to see changes.
But hey, at least if it's going to happen, it should happen abruptly, not this painful, slow slide. You're bad.
Well,
here's Gavin McKenna. That has to be some consolation.
Okay, and here's one for both of you. Patrick Alvin's been hip-hopping all over the world. He was in Europe for a couple of weeks. He went to see Ivor Stenberg. He just spent a week in your province. He just watched every OHL kid in the first round. Caleb Malhotra, he saw him twice. Once in Peterborough, once in Brantford. And
he's working hard.
Huh?
He's working hard.
Yeah, does that sound like a guy that's going to be fired? If you're going to fire Alvin, would you let him go see Stenberg? Would you let him spend a week in Ontario, as much as beautiful as your province is?
This time of year.
Maybe they have him using points.
But he's Kyper.
You didn't mention that he drove.
Travel all over the world. Does that sound like a
No,
GM
it does not sound like it. Yes. No,
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like he's going anywhere.
And by the way, he saw Malhotra twice. They like him, and the other top center is Ty Lawrence at Boston. We don't know where the Canucks are going to pick, 1, 2, or 3, but if they are picking 3, they got to think Verhoff or maybe a top center. So, but anyways, a lot of negativity in the city today, and the trade deadline's over, and people just want to get a good top draft pick. Everybody in the city wants McKenna, but we don't know if that's going to happen, right, guys?
Okay, Rick, trade deadline goes, and Pettersson's still a Canuck. Did you get a sense of how hard they pushed to move him, what the market was like, and how long will he remain a Vancouver Canuck?
Well, I ran to see Kyper's trade board every week because Pettersson was high on the trade board.
I did. I think it's inevitable, buddy.
I was sending all your trade boards to J.P. Barry. And he was losing it. He always yells at me. I said, don't shoot the messenger. Look.
Way to sick him on me.
They in on Besser, Pettersson, DeBrusque. They didn't want to retain salary on those guys, Kyper. What team, though, honestly, Kip, could take $11.6 million at the trade deadline without retention? Like, come on. Like, who's got 11.6 sitting there saying
the sense was the sense was Calgary was all over that. They ended up putting in 20% for Kadri.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had one
at the draft. They're going to have to move off of that.
Kipper, I had one team tell me a couple of weeks ago that if Vancouver could take 2.6 to 3 million in retention on Pettersson, they would think about it, right? But I mean, the trade deadline's not where you add $11.6 million players. They got to get these guys to the NHL draft and July 1st and beyond, Kyper. And if they can do it there, they're going to probably give it the old college try. The other one for you, guys, Connor Garland was easily the guy that had the most interest. And the reason why is because he had no trade, right? Protection. But I'm going to tell you guys something. Before the Olympic break, the Canucks told teams we'll listen on Garland, but we don't want to move him. After the Olympic break, they said, we'll listen on him and we're willing to move him. So what happened? They got to Connor Garland's agent during the Olympic break. They had a nice talk. I'm not saying Garland asked for a trade, but what I am saying, it was mutual, right? I think a lot of agents called their players and their players called their agents in Vancouver and had heart-to-hearts. You saw DeBrusque say in the media, I wouldn't mind going, then he retracted, right? He retracted the comments a couple of days later. So I think a lot of these veterans are probably thinking, you know what? I signed here long-term, but nobody told me we were rebuilding. Nobody told me we were. I got to give Pettersson credit. He has not once said, as far as I know, to his agent, get me out of Vancouver. I haven't heard that. I have not heard that.
Is anything salvageable between that relationship between the fans and Pettersson in terms of still believing that this guy can lead us?
Well, he signed 2 years ago for 8 years. The 2 years, he's gone from a 100-point guy, Kyper, to 50-point guy. That's not good. You're paying $11.6 for a 50-point guy. You could pay $5 million for a 50-point center. You don't have to pay $11.6. They're going to hope and pray. If he's not traded, he has a good summer, comes back, regains his old form. You know, I don't know what to say to you guys. The guy that scored 100 points and then 89, 90, that guy's not here anymore. We're not seeing that magic anymore, right? We're not seeing the magic. But they're going to have to hope and pray if he's here next year. Hey, listen, and if you get a McKenna or a Stenberg, those guys are going to need a centerman that gets them a puck. You can't have no centerman here. He's not going to get a couple of studs like that the puck. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of things. If they don't have a good centerman, those young kids that are an early age, you know, which way is their development going?
Well, you don't want to end up embarrassing. So how far down will they tear it here? Like, is DeBrusque going to go? How many more names off this roster will get stripped before they decide to start building it back up?
Well, their best trade chip was Philip Hronek, right? Mm-hmm. And his agent came out early and said no. Phil said no. He's on the short list to be named captain of the Canucks next year, right? Your best trade chip was Philip Hronek, but they want to keep him. The other problem is you can't trade every single veteran. You can't play with 21 rookies in a rebuild.
No.
You need good vets like Kyper to teach the young kids, you know, how to be a good pro on and off the ice. You can't have 21 rookies. You can't trade all these guys.
Listen, they got 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. People are going to be so excited by the end of the draft.
Yeah,
Kyper,
they got 10 picks in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, they're going to kill it
in the next 3 years.
It'll change everything with these new names and reputation. Hey, listen, wherever your camera is right now, your phone, leave it until we talk to you again. Don't touch it.
I haven't touched it.
Okay? Go get a new phone. Leave that one alone. Okay?
This is the winner.
Yep. All right, buddy. Thanks for doing this.
I hate technology.
Rick
let me
Dhaliwal.
get this in. Kyper.
Yeah, buddy.
Alvin said on Friday that he had no offers for Bluger and Kane. I talked to a lot of people on the weekend. I did not get that feel. Really? So, guys, are you telling me there's a world where David Kampf gets offers but not Bluger? Bluger's won a cup. He's a way better depth center for a playoff team than Kampf. And you're going to stand up and tell me that you got no offers? Now, I will tell you, I'll give you the update on Bluger. They want to re-sign him. Okay. And I just talked about you can't trade 10 guys. You can't trade 10 veterans. You can't have 21 rookies here. Bluger's a good vet, on and off the ice. He does want to re-sign here. I did hear that on the weekend. So you can't trade everybody, guys. Right. You got to keep guys like Hronek and Bluger, you know, good pros on and off the ice. You can't have 21 rookies.
Thanks, Rick. We got to go, buddy.
Thanks so much, Dolly. Appreciate you.
Dhaliwal. Oh, he's just squeezing everything in.
Theodore's Blugers re-signing in Vancouver.
We bumped
here first.
A Kadri soundbite for Rick.
I feel bad.
We got him up.
What?
What do you feel bad about?
We're just kicking somebody out. We had to go.
Oh, yeah.
We have to go.
So, sorry about that to Dolly. Appreciate the time.
All right. Do we have time for...
So I thought that was interesting, just the $3 million number for Pettersson to potentially eat. But
okay, let's play Kadri.
Oh, he's happy.
See how happy he is.
Well, how was that?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, emotional. Just seeing the support I get here, it's absolutely incredible. So it just makes me want to play harder for these fans and this team.
Was there a moment when you realized where you were again, back on the ice? Is there a moment that kind of hit you like, I'm back?
Yeah, several times over the last 24 hours. I think it's been, it's been a quick turnaround, and certainly something that's out of my comfort zone. I've never been a deadline guy, but to come here and play in front of these fans and play with this team is exactly what I could have asked for.
A deadline guy. It's interesting to me.
That one snuck in too, almost.
Are there guys that you would look at like as deadline guys versus not deadline guys? Is that like a derogatory term, being a deadline guy?
Hello, this deadline guy. Nothing I can drum up in the next 38 seconds of our show.
Hey, Valley's back tomorrow.
Hey!
It's been a long time, but he's back tomorrow. Valley, baby. Let's go.
All right. Our thanks to Rick Dhaliwal for figuring out his technology. Bob Stauffer out of Edmonton. And I don't know. What do we have in the first hour?
Us.
Just us. Thanks to us. We get to do it all week long on the real Kyper and Bourne show.
Come on.
If you get a chance, give us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you.